Hey, y'all, Doug with D&E in the Garage. Today I want to do something a little bit different. It's not going to be a podcast. It's definitely not a repair video. I want to do a Google search on Jeep. All right, I want to find out what kind of questions people are asking about Jeep, and maybe we can spread some knowledge and maybe find some stuff out too along the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up the Googleizer, and I am going to put in "is Jeep" and then every letter of the alphabet in order, and whatever the first thing that comes up is, we're gonna answer that question. We're gonna talk about it. So like, is Jeep A, is Jeep B, and see what comes up. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. Is Jeep? Oops, gotta spell Jeep right. Jeep A. Is Jeep American? Yes, Jeep is American. Jeep is the most American. I have argued that point and will continue to argue it. There's actually a podcast out there somewhere where I do argue that point. I'll try to link a card up in the corner if you'd like to see that. Yeah, I don't care where it's made. I don't care who owns it. Jeep is American. As it was in the beginning, is now, and forever shall be. Next question. Is Jeep being sold to China? Friggin' hope not, right? I think I know where this question's coming from. Maybe about a year ago, there was a Chinese company interested in purchasing Jeep, and I think Jalopnik did an article about it, and a bunch of other people jumped all over it. China's about to buy Jeep. I don't remember the name of the company, some kind of Jin Wandong something or another. But no, Jeep's not being sold to China. Jeep is the most profitable piece of its current parent company. I can't imagine they're going to just go ahead and sell that off. Next question, please. Is Jeep Compass four-wheel drive? They can be. The original ones came in front-wheel drive. It's more of a full-time four all-wheel drive, but yeah, they're four-wheel drive. Fun fact about the Compass that I found out recently: the Compass actually shares a platform with the Dodge Caliber, which most people know. It also shares a platform with the Lancer, or the Mitsubishi Lancer and the Mitsubishi Outlander, all on the same platform. So you Evo guys, your Evo is on the same platform as the Dodge Caliber and the Jeep Compass. So sorry. Next question. Is Jeep Dodge? I don't understand the question. Jeep is Jeep, Dodge is Dodge. Are you asking if like Jeep owns Dodge or Dodge owns Jeep? The answer is no. They're both owned by Chrysler, who is partnered with Fiat, making Fiat Chrysler Corporation. Next question. I hope I don't hope I know my alphabets well enough to keep this up. DE. Is Jeep expensive to maintain? Oof. Well, that all depends. You can make a Jeep very expensive to maintain. One good way to do that is right there. Go ahead and take an inexpensive Grand Cherokee and dump several $1,000s into it, and it becomes very expensive to maintain. But I suspect they were asking about new or stock Jeeps. And no, the answer is no. All right, this XJ is very inexpensive to maintain. It's almost 20 years old with 160,000 miles. My wife has a 12-year-old Commander with 170,000 miles. Very inexpensive to maintain. Parts are cheap. It doesn't break often. That's all you need to know. Is Jeep foreign? I guess that depends on where you're standing, doesn't it? If you are here in the United States of A, then no, it's not foreign. If you're offshore somewhere, then yes. So if you want to know the answer to is Jeep foreign, ask yourself this question. Am I in the United States? If yes, then no. If no, then yes. Next question. Is Jeep GM? No, it's not. I think I know where this might be coming from. I'm going to go on a bit of a history lesson here, because who doesn't love a history lesson? Jeep does have an interesting tie to GM, sort of. In the 70s and 80s, the Jeep brand was owned by the AMC, or American Motor Corporation, AMC, and during that time, they made vehicles for the military through a branch of AMC known as AM General. And when the M38 that they were using was outdated, the military came to AM General and asked them to please design a new military transport vehicle. They designed the Humvee. All right, these were the same engineers and designers that were working on Jeeps. That's why the Humvee has a 7-slat grille. And after AMC failed, Chrysler bought the Jeep brand, but GM bought AM General, and with it the rights to the Humvee. So when the Hummer became commercially available, it retained that 7-slat grille. At one point, Jeep tried to sue them, saying that was their intellectual property, whatever. They lost that lawsuit because Ford really designed it first. Doesn't matter. It's a long story, but I think maybe that's what they're asking. But no, GM does not own Jeep. Is Jeep hiring in Toledo, Ohio? I sure hope so, and here's why. If you don't know, Toledo, Ohio is the site of the original Willys Overland plant, where they made the very first Jeeps, and through the years, most of the Jeeps that were ever made were made in Toledo, Ohio. This XJ we're sitting in was made in Toledo, Ohio. That WJ right there was made in Toledo, Ohio, and countless other nameplates. So if recently they've pushed some of those jobs offshore, nothing against you, Mexico, China, whatever else, but I want my Jeeps made here in the US of A, okay, Merca. And so if they're hiring in Toledo, Ohio, that means probably gonna start building more Jeeps there. So I don't know the answer to that, but I sure as heck hope so. Next question. Is Jeep Italian? No, Jeep is not Italian, dang it. I get this all the time when I'm like, oh, Jeeps, and they're like, hey, Jeep's not even an American brand anymore because they're owned by an Italian company. They're not owned by an Italian company, all right? They are owned by Chrysler. Chrysler is currently partnered with the Italian automaker Fiat Chrysler America. Put it like this. You and your mother are American. Your mother gets married to an Italian guy. Are you now Italian? No, you have an idiot Italian stepfather, all right? At one point, us Jeepers had an idiot German stepfather, Daimler Chrysler. That failed. Fiat Chrysler will fail, and once again, Chrysler will be an all-American brand, and I can stop getting dumb questions like, Jeep's pretty much Italian now anyway, so it's not an American. Stop. Next question. Is Jeep JK interior waterproof? Short answer is no, it's really not. There's too much electronics inside of it to be waterproof the way previous Wranglers have. There are some thoughts put into it. I believe the JK still has a drain plug like most Wranglers, but like your steering wheel, all those electronics, they're not gonna last if you repeatedly leave the top off in the rain or, you know, drive into an 8-foot mud puddle or something. No, they're not. This is a bit of a mix-up of my wording, but we're going to take it. The first result is, what is Jeep JK? In North America, the JK is the Liberty, but everywhere else on the planet, it is the Cherokee. Let me explain. In 2001, they discontinued this beautiful, long-lasting nameplate in the United States, and they replaced it with the Jeep Liberty. But everywhere else on the planet, the Jeep Liberty, the first generation with the round headlights and the tire on the back, was called the Cherokee. That is the next generation of this Cherokee. Is Jeep Liberty four-wheel drive? Okay, lots about the Liberty here. Yeah, definitely four-wheel drive. I suppose you probably can get them in two-wheel drive. I'm certain you can. Interesting thing about the Liberty's four-wheel drive system, the original Liberty gets a lot of static for being the beginning of the end for the golden age of Jeeps. I actually have a podcast on that as well. Hit the card up in the corner if you're interested in the golden age of Jeeps. But the Liberty has what I consider to be the best transfer case ever for a daily driven Jeep, the 242 Select Track. Right? That is an amazing four-wheel drive system if you have a daily driven light-duty Jeep. So yeah, the Liberty is four-wheel drive, and it's got a really good four-wheel drive system. Some of the new ones have closer to like an all-four type system. It's more of an all-wheel drive, doesn't have any low gear, but still, yeah, you can get a Liberty in four-wheel drive if that's what you're asking. It's not a bad vehicle either. Is Jeep Mopar? Oh man, this is something that people argue about a lot. For those that don't know, Mopar is a parts brand. It's the OEM for Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep. But a lot of people argue, I think they originated as a performance part dealers. So a lot of people argue that only Dodge is Mopar, only Dodge Racing is Mopar, only old Dodge Racing is Mopar. I mean, for sure, like the Hellcats and the Demons that have come out today. Nobody's going to argue that those are Mopar. My argument for Jeep being Mopar is that if I order an OEM part for my Jeep, it comes in a Mopar box. Done. My Jeep's Mopar. Next question. Jeep is not starting. Make sure it's plugged in. Next question. Is Jeep offering 0% financing? I actually can't answer this question for you because I don't finance vehicles, and I don't think you should either. I have a whole podcast about it. Hit the card up in the corner on why your new car is in fact a scam. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they are. I recommend don't finance your vehicle anyway, even if they are offering 0% financing. Buy what you can afford, not what the bank will help you buy. All right, next question. Is Jeep part of Chrysler? Yes, this has been covered ad nauseum, so it's part of Chrysler. Next question. What is Jeep Quadra-Drive? Jeep Quadra-Drive is an extremely capable four-wheel drive system that utilizes a limited slip center differential. That is to say, it is a limited slip transfer case. So it's a rear wheel drive when you're just driving around town, and then your rear wheels slip and it sends power up to your front wheels. Really a very capable system, because most Quadra-Drives that I've come across are incorporated with limited slip differentials. So basically, in a Quadra-Drive vehicle, and this is especially true of the WJ because they had Verilok limited slip differentials front and rear, you can get into a situation where all 4 of your tires are churning. So Quadra-Drive is really very capable for off-road. Mostly in like the snow or the mud. It is really very good for a stock 4-wheel drive system. Kind of can't be beat. You suffer a little bit with mileage on the road because you can't put it just in 2-wheel drive like you could with Command Track or Select Track, but if you can get your hands on a Quadra-Drive WJ, you have a really good base for an off-road vehicle. I think that the JK or the WK, I think they only use limited slips in the back on the Quadra-Drive 2. I could be wrong. I know they use the 245 transfer case. If you are at all interested in Jeep transfer cases, and I swear the point of this list was not as an advertisement for my other videos, but I've rambled a lot about Jeep, so I have extended explanations for most of these. Anyway, hit the card up in the corner if you want to know more about Jeep transfer cases. I can give you a pretty good explanation. Next question. Is Jeep reliable? Yes, Jeep is reliable. Jeeps are very reliable. Here's the reason. Jeep does definitely 100% have a reputation for being unreliable. I think there are a couple reasons for that. One of them is because everybody knows some guy who spends every single Saturday out there in the driveway wrenching on his Jeep, giving the impression that, hey, that guy has to spend every weekend working on his Jeep. That Jeep must be unreliable. What you don't know is that that Jeep is 20 years old, it's got 250,000 miles on it. For the past 18 years, it's been lifted 5 inches, and it gets the crap kicked out of it every single Saturday on a trail somewhere. That's why he's wrenching on it every Sunday. What you also don't know is that guy probably loves wrenching on Jeeps, so he'd be out there turning bolts even if nothing was broken. If you buy a new Jeep, if you buy a Jeep to keep it stock, yeah, very, very reliable. Very, very reliable. Next freaking question. Is Jeep SRT8 all-wheel drive? I know very little about the SRT8. I believe there are 2 schools of thought for motorheads. Some people like to go fast, some people like to go everywhere. I'm the kind of, I want to go everywhere. But I do know that the SRT8 is in fact all-wheel drive. 100%. It would have to be, because if it wasn't, you would just burn tires off the back all day, you know what I mean? Very, very cool stuff, very exciting stuff. Jeep SRT8. Next question. Is Jeep the same as Dodge? I don't understand this question. What are you even asking me? No, Jeep is Jeep and Dodge is Dodge. Even if you don't know anything about cars, they got 2 different names. What would make you think they're the same? How are enough people asked basically this question in 2 different ways for it to be the top result on 2 of our questions were about, is Jeep Dodge? No, it's not. This is I'm calling this a dumb question. If you are somebody who asks this question and you want to elaborate further down there in the squawk box, by all means let me know. If not, this is a dumb. I don't get it. Okay, next question. Is Jeep under Chrysler? It is, in 2 ways. The first way, yes, Jeep is under Chrysler in that Chrysler owns it. The other way that Jeep is under Chrysler is that Jeep is currently holding up the heavy bloated roof that is Chrysler. All right, recently I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine. He lives out near LA, and he implied that perhaps Fiat was the best selling part of Fiat Chrysler in the United States, meaning that Fiat was outselling Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, and I argued with him but let it go because I didn't have anything to back it up. I actually went home and did a little bit of research, and it turns out no, not true at all. Chrysler isn't selling anything. I can't even tell you what they make anymore. Literally I can't. They stopped making the 200. Do they make the 300 anymore? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Dodge basically sells race cars. I mean, they broke Ram off, so that's its own thing. Obviously, Ram trucks are selling. I want a Power Wagon. If I was going to, I just told you I don't finance vehicles, and I don't. And I wouldn't buy a new vehicle either, but oof, if I had a whole pile of money to waste, Power Wagon. Heck yeah. I'm off track though. Dodge basically just sells race cars. As cool as they are, they're not selling a ton of them. Ram trucks. Fiat is not selling in the United States. Maybe in the cities where they buy small cars. I did my research because the next time I was talking to this buddy, I wanted to be able to refute the claims. Fiat is not selling in the United States. Really badly. Really badly. Nobody wants that crap. They buy that stuff over in Europe. Jeep. Jeep is the only thing selling on Chrysler. And in that way, it is under Chrysler because it's currently holding it up. Without Jeep, I don't know what Chrysler would be doing right now. All right, all of the Jeep models are selling gangbusters, going crazy. I love it. It's a very cool time to be a Jeeper. Our brand is expanding. We are entering new realms. I am way off topic though. Let's get back to the list. Are Jeeps vehicles? What? What? Yes? I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, Jeeps are vehicles. They're not vehicles. So next question, I guess. Is Jeep Wrangler rear-wheel drive? Hopefully not. It shouldn't be. Don't buy a two-wheel drive Wrangler. If you buy a two-wheel drive Wrangler, you're accepting awful, atrocious gas mileage for no reason. Just get the four-wheel drive one. That's what it's for. Please. Please don't buy two-wheel drive Wranglers. I'm begging you. But yes, if you buy a two-wheel drive Wrangler, or if you have a four-wheel drive that you haven't put into four-wheel drive, then yeah, it's rear-wheel drive. Next question. Is Jeep Xj Unibody? Yeah, the Xj is Unibody. The Xj was one of the first Jeeps they ever made that was Unibody. Of course, most all vehicles today are Unibody. Here is what Unibody is if you don't know. Traditionally, vehicles had a frame, and then they had a body that went on top of it. If you've ever seen like a pickup truck where they can take the bed off and take the cab off and you're left with the motor and everything in a frame, that's called body on frame. Unibody is where everything is all welded together. Everything's connected, so you can take the axles out of this, and that's about as far as you can get. You can't take the body off of the XJ. They do that today because it's cheaper and it's lighter and it is safer. All right, it's not as rugged though. It's a bummer. All right, you hit a little tree off-road in a pickup truck, tree's gonna be broken. You hit the tree off-road in a Wrangler, which is the only Jeep vehicle that is still body on frame, tree's gonna be broken. You hit it in the XJ, XJ is gonna be broken. It's a bummer. Same thing with the WJ and the ZJ and every vehicle except for the Wranglers and CJs and the Wagoneers and the pickups. Old Jeeps were body on frame. All old vehicles were. Nothing is today. Everything's unibody, including our beloved XJ. Next question. Here's a weird one. I'm not sure is for why. It's what is your Jeep's name? How nice of you to ask though. You know, nobody ever does. So let's talk about Jeep names. Funnily enough, can't make this stuff up, I have a podcast about naming your vehicle because I believe that all vehicles, especially Jeeps, have souls and as such should be named. Let's go through the Jeeps we have in the family. This one, as you may know, is named Little Buck. It is an homage to a much larger XJ I owned named Buck. That WJ over there is named Willie. My wife has a 2012 Commander named Roxy. And my sister has a 2012 Patriot named Maybelline. And of course, you've seen Eric's Rat Rod ZJ, and that is named Barney because it's big and slow and funny looking. Next question. Last question. What is Jeep ZJ? What's a ZJ? If you have to ask, you can't afford it. All right, guys, well, that was fun. Thanks for watching. Big thanks to Google for making this whole video possible. I love the Googleizer. It's great, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you found this video entertaining, amusing, maybe even a little educational. If you did, by all means, like the video. Hit subscribe to the channel. Share the video with a friend. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you think of my opinions on each of these questions. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me I'm wrong about something or everything. You always do, but I enjoy it. I really do. Till next time, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.